What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Saturday weather update for Saturday, February 24th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily weather update on weather happenings across the country. We talk about the short range and long range forecast for the United States, and if there's records, we talk about that too. So if you want to subscribe to my channel, hit that subscribe button down below, give this a thumbs up, and share this with anyone you know. Starting off today, relatively quiet picture right now across the United States. We do have a weak system exiting the Ohio Valley. Another weak disturbance exited the New Jersey coast this morning, and it did provide some surprise showers across southeast Pennsylvania and portions of New Jersey. The rest of the country is relatively quiet, with exceptions to extreme northwest, where there is a weather system that is going to cause some rain and snow in the Pacific Northwest. Taking a look out in the Pacific Ocean, you can see here there is a system that is spinning off into the ocean, and you can see those clouds that are up into the far northwest portion of the United States. Taking a look at the latest radar picture here, and you can see on radar we do have some showers moving across the Carolinas and Virginia. For the most part, it's rain showers. There are some mountain snow showers in West Virginia, western North Carolina, Virginia, and also portions of Tennessee. The rest of the country, take a look at this. Relatively quiet. You do see here, just northwest of Seattle, some showers are starting to enter the picture, and that should continue into the afternoon. Taking a look at the national picture here for hazards, and you can see here, there are some hazards to be had. Nothing major. Red flag warnings up in the south. Any wind that you see could cause the potential for wildfires, and you do see in the Pacific Northwest and across the Rocky Mountains wind. Yes, there are going to be some high winds. Winds could gust up to 50 to 60 miles per hour in the mountains, and you also do see winter storm watches and winter storm warnings, as snow is likely for you. Taking a look at the next 1 through 7 days from the Weather Prediction Center, yes, things are going to remain quite active in the Pacific Northwest because there's going to be a parade of storm systems, one that will eventually come down and provide a severe weather threat for portions of western Kentucky, Tennessee, even up into the portions of the Great Lakes. We've been watching this for several days, and the models continue to show it. Let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center now, and we really have to move out to the day 4 time frame, which would be Tuesday. And you can see from Arkansas and Oklahoma on up in through Michigan, all this area here, there is a slight risk of severe weather. Isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Wind is going to be the biggest threat, and also a few isolated incidences of hail. Then, as we head into next Wednesday, Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Georgia, and extreme northern Alabama and northern Mississippi. I say northern Georgia because I think you'll probably be included in this a little bit more down the line. Again, slight risk, isolated tornado, wind will be the biggest threat, and some hail. We'll take a look at this on the models. Now, taking a look here at the 12Z NAM, you can see quiet across much of the United States this weekend. That weak disturbance is going to exit the coast tonight off of North Carolina and Virginia. And then you can see up in the Pacific Northwest, rain and snow. Some of this snow going to be very heavy. It's going to continue throughout the weekend and right into Monday across the mountains. And then that energy, you can see here, it exits that region. And you can see a low starts to develop over Iowa and Illinois. That's the low that we're going to have to watch. Ahead of that, there is going to be a strong southwest flow. What does that mean? We could be talking about not record warmth, record heat. Yes, heat across portions of the southern plains. Texas, Oklahoma, well into the 80s, and it wouldn't surprise me if an isolated location in Texas hits 90 degrees early next week. Yes, we're talking about that to end February. Is that crazy or what? Let's take a look at the GFS now. You can see here, as we head into Wednesday, there is a warm front that will set up across the Ohio Valley. That is going to push to the northeast, as you see here, and look at this. Here's your potential severe weather. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. There will already probably be thunderstorms ongoing Wednesday morning across portions of Kentucky and Tennessee. That is going to eventually make its way to the east, and you can see here, Tennessee, northern Georgia, and even portions of West Virginia. Yes, there would likely be a wind threat with this, and behind us, temperatures are going to drop relatively quickly. Look what happens on Thursday. You can see as we head into the northeast and across portions of the mid-Atlantic, rain to the east of the front, but behind the front, moisture does lag, which means there'll be the threat of maybe a brief period of snow behind us. And you can see that clears as we head into Thursday evening, and behind that, slightly colder weather. Nothing terribly impressive because watch what happens behind it. The cold air quickly exits. Here comes another southwest flow, another ridge. I'll show it to you at the 500 millibar level. Comes another ridge, and look at this. You don't see troughing in the east. You do see troughing in the Pacific Northwest, but not in the east. So any cold that comes behind this event, it's not looking terribly impressive. Let's also take a look at the Canadian model, shall we? Let's advance this, and I want to show you the energy on the Canadian model. See this trough that comes in? Watch this. This is the trough that's going to provide the severe weather across portions of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, even southern Michigan now. And then eventually Kentucky and Tennessee and across some of the northern portions of the Gulf Coast states, as we have to watch here. You can see here, here's the energy, and I think there'll be a few isolated tornadoes. I don't think it's looking like a major tornado event. I think wind is going to be the biggest factor, maybe even an isolated case of hail. But again, it would not surprise me if there's a few tornadoes. We'll have to watch how this evolves. There's two ways there could be tornadoes with this event. Number one, the initial cells that develop, there could be some supercells that could spark a tornado. And number two, if this congeals into a quasi-linear convective system known as a QLCS, well, then we could see a few areas of rotation along that, and that could provide a few isolated supercells, or a few isolated tornadoes, I should say, and also some isolated threats of wind damage. And I think that's what we're going to have to watch. So at worst case, we could see this event get upgraded to an enhanced risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Now I have to show you the European. You need to see this. Look what happens on the European as I advance this into next week. The European is still going with very warm, if not downright hot conditions for this time of year in Texas. Take a look at this. Sunday, upper 80s. Watch what happens on Monday. Yes, these are 90s across portions of Texas. It is still showing up. You can see that here. Should that happen, that would just smash records. And look again on Tuesday. Yes, maybe even on Tuesday as well, with 80s to isolated 90s down in the southern portion of Texas. Oh, and look, now likely overdone here, but it's showing near 100 degrees at the Texas-Mexico border. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's a little bit too extreme. But again, this is just record territory right here that we're seeing. And behind us, look what happens. The temperatures significantly drop, and you're talking about highs that would only be in the upper 40s to maybe 50s, and then 60s along the Gulf Coast. So it would be a complete reversal. But that's not going to last very long. Look what the long-range European does. Yep, there comes warm weather again. Not as warm, but right back up into the 70s just a few days later. Let's take a look at the long-range outlook here. 6 to 10 day outlook across the country. Well above average in the east, with the highest axis being in the Great Lakes, below average on the West Coast, and well below average for Alaska. If it's your turn to head down to Florida, guess what? Above average temperatures for you. Slightly above average precipitation across much of the country, near normal in New England, near normal in the Four Corners region, and well above average precipitation on the West Coast. 8 to 14 day outlook. We're looking at well above average temperatures in the Northeast. Yes, winter, I think it's exiting the picture. There'll be maybe a few incidences of light snow events, in the higher elevations, but widespread winter weather with widespread cold, widespread snow, it's not looking likely at this point. If you want to see that, you have to head out to the West Coast, where temperatures will be below average, or up to Alaska, where temperatures will be well below average. And as for precipitation, equal chances all across the country for slightly above average precipitation. There is a signal showing up that there could be some sort of a block that sets up somewhere along the Atlantic coast. That could spell a heavy rain event somewhere, whether it ends up being in the plains or along the coast and where a low develops or front stalls. That remains to be seen, but keep this in mind that going in from the first week of March into the second week, there could be the potential for a significant rainfall event. And I'm saying rainfall because it does not look like it's going to be cold enough for snow whatsoever at this point. But keep that in mind, that if you have plans during that time frame, I think it's going to be a relatively wet period, as if a boundary comes in, it's going to get hung up because there's a blocking potential that is now showing up. Alrighty, guys, that's all I have for today. We'll have another weather update again tomorrow. We'll have more under severe weather, and of course, this potentially historic heat that's going to set up in Texas early next week. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, subscribe to my channel down below, and of course, share this all across social media with anyone you know. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Have a fantastic Saturday evening.